We're three of us. There's Jazz, Kalpana, and me. My name is Bindu Chopra, and we're all people working in the IR department. So we can pretty much we work with universities, and of course we work with all of you. A little bit about Tctc Global. We were originally the Chopras. Some of you may know us as the Chopras. Who are we? Well, we're 25 years old. We started in 1995, and the pandemic has actually stopped us from celebrating 25 years. We were 25 in February, and the lockdown happened in March. But over the years, we have worked with over 2.5 million students, and we work with universities across, I think across all countries. We very, very, very rarely say no to a student, if they want to go to a particular country. So that's what we are, and we shape lives and careers. We work very closely with students, and as I said, we never ever say no. So let's go. What we've tried to do today, that we've got you covered in the sense that, your journey with us from when you start to when you actually get to university, we've tried to answer questions along that journey. So let's go with the first one. Oh, let's have a poll. Jigyasa, are you there? Can you do the poll for me? We're wanting to know what.
Sorry, the poll results are already on your left-hand side. If you click the poll.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Okay.
So, Kalpana, can you tell us?
So acceptance deposit is 6%. Starting online is 13%. Visas is 25%. Safety upon arrival is another 25%, and post-study work permit is 31%, as you would have expected.
Yeah. So, all right, your concerns are not really deposits, but more on visas and post-study work. You're in the right place. We're going to cover them in great detail. So let's do a little bit of good news from India today. The IB board, ICSC, ISC, CBSC, all the board results, state boards have also released results. So for some of you, those are really, really good news, so that you can start getting all your results, your admissions on. Yes, for some of you postgraduate students, not such good news. Some of you have not had your exams yet, but that's the state of the nation right now, and we hope and pray that it will be done sooner than later. Domestic flights have resumed, and as of today, we have heard that for some countries, there will be international flights which are also resuming. They haven't started yet, but the story is that it's going to be this week. They're planning in little bubbles for the 4 or 5 major countries that flights will resume. So, should I go? A lot of you are asking these questions. Should I go? So, let's look at it. The world is reopening, recovering. Germany opened. They are going to have face-to-face classes. The UK opened. Pubs, bars, people on the street, only 1 meter distancing. Masks are still required, but the rest of it is opening. So that's a very good sign. Face-to-face will happen when borders reopen. A lot of people are very worried that if I start online, will my whole course be online? Never. That's never going to happen. The universities are cognizant of the fact that a lot of you, as you have indicated, post-study work is very important. So if they go completely online, you won't get your post-study work. So there is no question is not opening. India and progress globally, that's another way. For those of you who are really worried, it's called transnational education, TNE. You can start in India and then transfer. For the US, you need 2 years over here to be able to transfer. But there are a number of places, like, for example, the UK, where you can do 1 year here and get into second year there. So you don't lose out. You will still end up doing, ending your education when you should have. So these are all options. So you should. That is what we said. Universities have invested in your safety. online experience and resources. Again, a big worry from all of you that I don't think safety, as I saw just now, is not really your concern, only 6%, but the online experience about, should I go online? I don't really want to, but it is absolutely wonderful to see how universities are adapting to making the online experience nearly as good. I can't say as good, but nearly as good as the one you would have on campus. Remember that even when you are on campus, there are a number of your courses that will be online. And the tutorials may not be. So the online experience may not be as bad as you think it's going to be. You will still do group work, you will still know your peer group, and the resources that the universities are investing and putting in, and the infrastructure to make sure that not only are you safe, but the digital world around you and the infrastructure in that, the universities are spending a lot of money on it. The other thing is that should we defer our application? Remember, you can certainly defer your application, but your offer does not necessarily get deferred. So sometimes for very, very, very competitive courses, you might find that, yes, they will say, we will take your application forward. You don't have to repay for your application, but your offer goes back into the pile and your application is reassessed with the new applications that have come in. Not everywhere. Please, this is not a blanket thing, but be careful of your offer, especially scholarships. Scholarships don't get forwarded. Offers could be. There is more flexibility in opportunities this year versus greater competition next year, naturally, because next year everybody will either be transferring, or wanting to apply. We don't know what next year is going to bring. Yesterday, I was listening to something which said the vaccine may be out before the end of the year. This is the Oxford vaccine from the UK. So one doesn't know where this is. So don't let the year pass you by. That's our sincere advice. It doesn't mean you compromise on safety. If borders don't open, if universities don't open, if there is a safety hazard, of course not go. But all things being equal, the way they are on the 18th of July, there is no reason, especially for some countries, to not go. Money matters. Nobody is really worried about their money. Again, acceptance deposits was not even a concern, but we will just, quickly just tell you. Universities across the globe, because of the online learning and the suffering and the economic shock, to the markets during the pandemic, there are multiple scholarships. Please connect with your RMs to find them. And if you're at the expo, you can certainly meet with universities and talk about scholarships. Please talk about bursaries to them. A lot of universities are talking about bursaries just for this intake. Remember, some of them may not be for next year when things start to settle down. So they can be called fee reductions. In America, they're called fee waivers, scholarships for merit, and sometimes bursaries. It could be an India bursary, especially this year. So do ask your university or the RMs about these bursaries. Education loans are being granted and accepted by majority of the visa offices. If the universities accept it, the visa offices will also accept it. Governments are supporting, giving financial support to students who have been stranded there. Some governments are a little more, forthcoming about it. Some are not. Okay. So let's go to some questions. I'm going to try and see if I can see my colleagues on this one. There we are. Then I can't see my. Okay, sorry guys, I have to go back to my slide. I know, sorry.
This is about Bindu. It's just technical.
Yeah,
everything.
I know. Where is it? Yeah. All right. So, Jas, if a student defers his or her offer to the next intake, will the scholarship still be active?
Yeah, I think you covered that, Bindu, but I'll answer this question because we have had it come up a few times. Not necessarily. But Bindu made a really great point that a lot of scholarships are special just to this year, just to the COVID period. So those scholarships in particular will not be available next year. So just be really conscious about that. And that point you've mentioned around deferring, you defer your application, not even your offer. So the reason your scholarship might not go is because your actual secured place is also being deferred. You're deferring the application. So just be conscious about that if you're deciding about whether you should go ahead with it this year.
All right. Will I get a discount, Kalpana, on my tuition fees if I opt for mixed or hybrid learning?
So, Bindu ma'am, you did cover this. Can't hear me?
Yeah. No, it's just coming and going.
Okay, so I'll try. You definitely can shift.
No, but I can't.
Provided you are I don't know, the voice is cracking, I think. Jas, would you like to take this?
Should I go ahead and pay the deposit for September 2020 intake? Unfortunately, I can't see you.
Should I answer that question? So, so in case you're going to get, if you are thinking about whether you're going to get a discount, a hybrid or online programs, no is the answer for most of them. What you might get is some reduction in terms of fee reduction in the US, which is really in the form of a scholarship. So there's more scholarships. That's what you need to be thinking about. It's not that they're going to reduce the fees. There's very few universities that are doing that. The reason is you're still getting a degree at the end of the program. They're still putting as much resource. In fact, they're putting in more resources because they're having to elevate the online learning experience you're having to make sure that you're not missing out on anything that you would have been getting physically. So for universities, the cost is actually more than a normal program for them, but they're not, but they're trying to be flexible in the way they're approaching that by giving you a number of bursaries and scholarships and grants, and in some cases, very few, some reductions to try and help with that.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, there's very little I can really sort of add to that. It's a great way of.
We missed the third. No, we missed the third one.
We've done all the three. We've done the three. Yeah. So how and when will I start? Let's have a look. If you notice, nothing really too much has changed in this. USA is still August or September, and it's hybrid. We will discuss a hybrid in our next slide, what exactly we're talking about. But USA, Canada, none of them have really said that they are sticking to their intakes this year. The only thing that we can tell you at TC Global, with our experience in working with all these universities, is that there will be delayed starts. So if somebody says that they're going to start on the 1st of September, the chances are that they will have a delayed start, because you have to remember the visa offices haven't really fully opened yet. A few of them have, not all of them have. So there will be staggered starts to this, but they're definitely going to start in some way, shape or form. So let's go through them one by one, and we will talk about hybrid learning, the big bogey that you have in your lives, that should we do online stuff or not. So let's have a look at it. What exactly is hybrid learning? Hybrid learning is a mix of online and face-to-face. Hybrid learning is not standard online learning for the whole course. You know, in India, we call it distance learning. Yes? So we're not talking about distance learning. We're not talking about online learning. We're talking about hybrid. Part of it is digitized and part of it is face-to-face. For want of a better word, they're using the word online. And even if you are on campus, a number of your modules might be or usually will be online, and the rest will be face-to-face. Lectures are usually face-to-face. Tutorials will be face-to-face. Lab work will be face-to-face. But a lot of the other stuff will be online. So you start your program online and move to face-to-face onshore teaching. At the moment, you moved onshore when the borders open. Otherwise, in normal times, you go onshore, and even then, you will have a number of modules which will be completely digital, and that's the way it is. Online learning will be the new normal going forward, but I'm one of those who thinks this is not the new normal anymore. This is the normal. This is what we're going to have from now on. I don't think it's going to well, I can't say ever, but not for a long time is it going to change in a hurry. Because remember, till the vaccine comes in and we actually beat the coronavirus, this is not something that is going to change overnight. 6 months, 8 months, next year, 2022. We don't know. We really, honestly don't know. Okay, so let's look at some of our questions. Let me look at the question. Okay, I'm going to bring this down so that I can see all of you. Okay. I can do this one. Does starting online mean my entire degree would be online? I've just explained it to you that no, it will never ever be completely online. Something that is completely online is called distance learning, and in India we call this correspondence courses. This is not going to be. Jess, will hybrid learning affect my employment opportunities?
It probably gives you better opportunities, because what you're demonstrating is that you can work in a remote environment. You're showing that even in difficult circumstances, you are resilient, you're forward thinking. So in fact, it will enhance your CV, it will enhance your job prospects, because remote is increasingly becoming the new normal. And if you're demonstrating that you can work in that, you're just increasing your options there.
In fact, we just had a very nice session on the future of work right now. We're going to do another one this evening on the future of learning. And you will see, and if you actually attend those, that people from industry, what they're really saying, they're saying they want the resilience, they want the adaptability, they want the agility. I mean, those are the buzzwords. So impact, not negatively, positively, is the way we think. Kalpana? Can I start my study in India and then transfer to an international
you did
study
talk about this
destination
briefly.
later?
There is this option of TNE, where a number of universities allow you to start in India. So you could start now, and next year you could transfer your credits to universities overseas. Or the other option, what we talked about, was hybrid, where you start in India online and then transfer to these universities as soon as the borders open across the globe. So it's a very good option. We should start with these options.
And guys, the reason why this is being repeated is that we are giving you the updates, but these are questions that have come from all of you. And we've done a number of webinars, we've collated them and taken the ones that are the most often asked, and that is why we're actually discussing them all over again. Jess, with online learning, I'm lacking motivation to do any
I
work
feel you.
without
I
my
feel your
peer.
problem. This is my peer group though, and I've actually been talking to my peer group every single day. So in fact, I'm talking to them more than I'm talking to my own family members. What you should know is that universities are doing a lot to make sure that you're able to network, that you're able to collaborate. There's things like group work, there'll be networking opportunities. And what you'll have is actually a really great peer group when you go there that you've already made friends with, that you've already connected with on another level. So when you go to a new destination, you're not even by yourself. So universities are conscious of this. What you have to be is conscious of that as well. Make sure you're proactively doing study groups. There'll be group projects. There'll be loads of opportunities for you to connect. There'll be virtual networking. What we're doing right here is virtual networking. The virtual GI that you're in right now is virtual networking. So just think about that. There'll be so many opportunities for you to do it.
Add on to that, I was talking to a few universities recently, and they are even doing the job fest or job fairs, where it's a great opportunity for students to network not only with the employers, but with the peer group.
Oh, perfect. There you are. I mean, so being online, you know, is really the new world, so to say, but we have to learn to live with it. Okay, so your next one is that once you've got this covered, you know your start dates, you know when the universities are going to open, you've got your offers. Our next big issue are visas. So let's look at some of the visa updates. The USA does not require a visa for online courses, but the consulate is not yet open. Yes, a lot of noise has been made about H-1B visas, but as you can see, and of course students being online, it has been rescinded. The order has been rescinded, so there is no problem at the moment anymore. Canada is asking for visas online before the course start. So, but it's online. You can certainly apply, even if you can't, you know, in your area, there is, if you can't do the biometrics, you can still do the visa online, put in your documents, and you get into the queue. So you can start the visa process, and it's then that becomes a two-pronged thing. But otherwise, it's a very good way of telling them that I need my visa. I'm going to start online because I'm serious. I'm a serious student who wants to get there. Ireland, you must have a visa prior to starting online, and the Irish guys are saying that you definitely need 4 to 7 weeks for your visa to come through. So please, guys, if anybody is looking at Ireland, start your visa immediately. It takes 4 weeks to get a visa, and the extra 3 weeks is because they want you to go there for the 14-day quarantining. If you're going to start online, then a minimum of 4 weeks. The visa office is opened, and they have a thing called check and verify. Use that. Please use that service from VFS. It gives you priority to get your visa. And they are one of the few countries right now that are accepting Duolingo for the visa. Again, it is very, very temporary. They may not do it from next year, but this year things are not normal, as you know. UK, you do not require a visa for online courses start, and the visa offices have opened. Nothing else has changed. By the way, the visa processes everywhere in the world have not changed. In fact, people think they'll become more flexible, but I will tell you they're as stringent as they were. So they still don't want, you know, rubbish and fraudulent documents to come in. So that they're very careful about, but otherwise they're very encouraging. Visas are not required for the online course start, and some visa offices have opened, and they're very gradually they're opening. Okay, so don't worry about it. All of them are opening. Australia, you don't, as you can see, they're even accepting language cert, but at the moment not open. Even in New Zealand, visa not required, but visa offices are not open. In fact, these are the two countries that haven't opened their borders yet, and they're looking very closely at the safety angle before they open their borders. So let's look at some of the questions that that have been asked. All right. I'm going to go down and pick that up. Okay. Kalpana, should I book my accommodation in advance?
As soon as possible, because as soon the borders open, you would need to be quarantined for 14 days. Most of the countries are asking for this 14-day period of, a self-isolation. So if you have an accommodation, it's very easy. And universities are pretty okay. If you book an accommodation now and pay for the accommodation, they don't kind of charge you till the time you arrive. So it's not that you are charged from whatever date the course starts. It is till the time you don't arrive. So if your university is starting in September, but you join the university in January, they will start taking the money from January. So it's a good idea to book your accommodation after that.
So absolutely no reason not to book your accommodation. Please do, especially for America, guys. And remember, there's going to be much lesser campus accommodation available because of social distancing. So do get it in. Jazz, would the universities help with finding the right resources to ensure my health and safety?
They will. I mean, we had a chat about this earlier, and we were like, you are the responsibility of the university. And that's true. Universities, I don't know, if you ever hear anyone say they went to a university, they say, I'm alumni of that university. They own that, right? So that's the same thing. Will do everything they can to make sure you're safe, to make sure that you're not compromised during your learning experience. So many of them have already set up their campuses, even though they cannot start face-to-face. They've set up so there's one direction in place. Everything's properly sanitized. There's sanitizers everywhere. There's social distancing. So even when they do start face-to-face, then have got rules in place where after a certain number of students, the program, the seminar, the particular session will be online, or half would be in one session, half will be in another. So they've all accommodated this to make sure that you will be helped, and they'll be doing a lot to make sure you are helped.
Yeah, I mean, in the UK, your sponsor is your university. Now, surely they're not going to let you dangle sort of up in midair and leave you to your own devices. They're responsible for you. And will the university increase miscellaneous expenses for facilities like quarantine? Well, I think we talked about this. As I said, some of them are taking on the cost of quarantining on themselves, so you don't even have to pay for it. You will be quarantined in the accommodation on campus, and you don't have to pay for it. On some cases, you will have to pay, but it's marginally less. And the question was, will they help? Yes, some of the Canadian universities will suggest places. You will have to pay for it, but they will give you the options and tell you where you should go. So they will. We keep on reiterating, the universities are on your side. Safety is a big, I mean, guys don't think so, but safety is a big issue as far as universities are concerned. So they will take that on board. So if you have any questions as we go along, you can certainly, I can see questions on subjects, so we will try and cover them at the end. Okay. Now, coming to the end of your journey, you've done all that, you've done the visas. What happens when you actually get there? So we've talked about this, 14 days self-quarantine mandatory in most countries at the moment. What happens 6 months from now? No idea. 18th of July, 2020 is what we're talking about. Many universities are offering facilities at no extra cost. Accommodations are limited, as I mentioned, due to social distancing. No change in part-time work. A lot of you are very worried about it. 20 hours a week. And if you're in the healthcare sector, you will be able to work even 40 hours a week. Universities are taking adequate measures for the safety of students. There's all kinds of things, and each university is different. So if you want particular details, please, you'll have to ask you have to ask the, oh, then obviously I did the, okay, I've done those. Now let's do the other one. Post-study stay-back impact. This lots and lots and lots of people are very, very worried about. So I'm putting it up one by one, whichever country you want to go to. USA at the moment, nothing has changed, okay? Even the H-1B visas, it is still there. There is a ban on it for new H-1B visas till December 31st, but that will change. There is no reason for it not to. And so at the moment, the USA stays the way it is. In Canada, not impacted. As long as you do 50% of the course in Canada, there should be absolutely not, there should be no problem. The GIR in the UK, not impacted if you're onshore by the 6th of April and you have to finish by September. So if the last 6 months are really done onshore, you still get your 2 years stay back. Ireland, there is no change. You get your 2 years. Germany has no impact. In fact, Germany is the easiest. They say at least 6 months, even out of a 2-year course. Even if you have 6 months completed onshore, you will still get your 18 months stay back. In Australia, students have to be onshore for 16 months, but this may change. I mean, there are talks going on, and we are also waiting clarity. It might change and make it more in favor of the student. So let's wait for it. New Zealand says minimum 30 weeks on campus study to be eligible for the stay-back options. So as you can see, stay-back is not impacted. Visas are not impacted. The two areas where you were very worried about are not really impacted if you go this year. All right, so let's have a look at the questions. Kalpana, are post-study options still available?
Yes, in all countries, the post-study options remain as is. In fact, UK has introduced 2 years of stay back for every student that graduates and does their graduation from next year. And for PhD students, the stay back is for 3 years. And for Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, and all those countries where the post-study options were available, they remain intact. Even for students who study in the hybrid mode, you would be very happy to know that even if you start in the hybrid mode, the post-study does not really change.
Super. So as most institutions have started online learning, will that affect my post-study work visa? I will do this one because I've said it over and over again. No, online learning will not affect your post-study work visa. There are limitations in every country. Canada says 50% online is allowed. Germany says as much, as long as 6 months are done in Germany, you still have that. The UK says as long as you're there by the 6th of April next year, they will give it to you. So as you can see, online learning has not affected the post-study work visa at all. And let's take one more. What jobs are trending post-COVID-19?
This is like the million-dollar question. Let's break a myth right now that there will be no jobs post-COVID-19. Yes, a recession is likely to happen, particularly in countries like the US. Yes, fine. But there are also so many opportunities. The thing is that this remote world is actually producing a bunch of opportunities. And beyond the remote, you also find things like logistics and transport are great opportunities. There's things in data science, there's things in AI. There's so many more opportunities than what you're thinking. Even when you're studying, you'll still have those part-time opportunities too. Check out one of our insights that we've got that's got a lot of information about future jobs and industries that are coming up. And I hope you attended that session earlier. Just keep yourself informed and be open to opportunities. Don't think that anything's limited to you. Just try. There's nothing that will be impossible.
Yeah, now with e-commerce, there's logistics, I don't understand why people are so worried. I mean, we've got Gurjot Singh, this is, I think, the second time he's asked, what will the market update for aviation and pilots? Friend, if the world opens up, if travel opens up, then pilots will be needed. If it doesn't open up and travel does get restricted, then pilots, there will be a glut of pilots. So you will have to look at, but my advice to somebody like that would be study something in aviation. I mean, you can do avionics or something. Australia has a lot of courses like that. And do your pilot training alongside. Don't become a pilot at the age of 18. That doesn't make sense, and then find that you're unemployed. We don't know what the travel world is going to be like. So yes, I think you've asked that before also. So I thought, let me just answer that. I think we have a poll now. Jigyasa, can you run that? How do you feel about starting with Global Ed now? Studying in India, working? I have no clue. Defer to the next intake. Start my program online.
So they've got results. Do you want me to read them for you, Bindu? Yep. Go.
Oh, I can now see them. All right. Because I've come on out. Start my program online is only 8%. What, guys? After 40 minutes, you defer to the next intake, 46%. All right. I have no clue. That's normal. And working on it is 7%. Wonderful. I just would love to know the reasons for deferring to the next intake, but it is your choice. It is absolutely your choice. If it's a question of safety or money, fair enough. But if it's anything else, do think about it, because the opportunities right now are a lot more for people who are sitting on the fence. So do look at it very, very seriously. All right, let's have a look. We will go back. I'll just do a little summary and give you the key takeaways from today. We'll just do quickly, and so we've done it all, and that is why I'm just for you to. By the way, should anybody want some of these, just ask your RMs. They will give you a one-pager on this whole presentation to be able to take it forward. So we can now just do a quick and do connect with us. It's the easiest way to stay connected. But what I will do is I will just see if there are any chat, any
we've got some questions.
Kalpana, can you see any questions that we'd like to
questions for you?
pick them up? Yeah, let's take them. Yeah, let's take them. Okay, here's one. Geeta, no, she's been all over. I've answered her somewhere else also. If we start taking online classes from India, what will be the scenario of visa? There's no scenario of visa. It just depends on which country you're going to. And you can apply for a visa. Some countries require a visa before you start, like Canada. So you can't start the online. But everywhere else, you're pretty much okay with starting the online classes. And when you apply for a visa, you say you've started the classes, that you've done so many credits already, 3 credits or 4 or 6, whatever the credits are, and apply for the visa. So there's no scenario, there's no change in the visa rules, whether you start online or off.
No, I wanted to add to that. When you are actually enrolling onto the universities online, the Australian universities are offering you something called as the ECOE. Universities in UK will issue your CAS. So you already have those documents that the government, the visa office is looking for from the institution that you've already started on the course. It should not be an issue at all.
It should not be a problem. Absolutely.
So the first question that we got is, so I had an English language requirement in my offer letter, which required me to give IELTS, but after the pandemic, they shifted it to Duolingo. I gave the Duolingo and got an unconditional offer. Now, while applying for my visa to the UK, will I have a problem with it? Because like you said, some don't accept Duolingo. Do you want to take it?
Yeah, no, yeah, I can do that one because that's the easiest answer in this whole thing. Is that UK does not require, it does not. Let me put it like this: English language tests, proficiency tests, are not required, are not mandatory for UK visa, unless you're doing a diploma. So if your course is below the undergraduate level, then you require, then you should worry about it. Otherwise, if your university has accepted Duolingo, the UKVI has absolutely no problem with accepting it, because at the moment it is not mandatory. The English proficiency is not mandatory for a visa. It's mandatory by university.
When can I expect the new dates for submissions of final transcripts? I think this is for a particular university. I'm sure I saw it in there.
Yeah, it was for Strathclyde and Loughborough. So get in touch with your RM. They would facilitate it.
Casey, the Joydeep's RM sent them here. Sent Joydeep here.
Okay, so we have Loughborough with us today.
Okay.
Let's talk to them right after this session. You can go through the expo and ask them the next date. But as you are aware, UGC has declared, and this has gone to all the university partners across the globe, and they know that Delhi University results will, or most of the university results in India would be delayed. So don't worry about that. This year is an exceptional year, and all institutions are helping and understanding what's happening across the globe.
Are you a postgrad student for Loughborough? If you are, a lot of their courses have been moved to January anyways, so stop worrying about deadlines. Universities are they may not be flexible on some things, but things like this, deadlines, they are being very, very flexible. Don't worry.
Joydeep, just so you know, Strathclyde is here as well, so you can connect with them.
Yeah.
They'll be happy to help you. If you still have a problem, come to the stage or go to the help desk and we'll help you there. So the next question is, I'm studying in class 10th currently, so should I be taking national Olympiads and what about extracurricular competitions? Wow, I love you. You sound so...
All right. If you're looking at applying to the US, you will require the extras. But the rest of the world really works on academics. And I would rather you got very, very high, became a nerd and got me 95% marks for the rest of the world. But the US requires an SAT, and they are the ones who require some kind of additional stuff. So yes, Olympiads are terrific. Go for it. And even your extracurriculars, it can't be singing and dancing and drawing. It has to be, sports is a great leveler. So maybe something like that. It can do.
Okay. This is the next one. Any unis in Canada willing to accept applications?
So I think that most of the universities and colleges in Canada are accepting applications without IELTS at this stage. If you want to submit an English course, you can go for Duolingo. That is what the institutions are accepting. But for the visa, if you're going to a college, you may need to do your IELTS again. But for the universities, it's perfectly okay. You don't need anything. You can submit your, complete academic documents without IELTS.
An SDS visa, unfortunately, requires an IELTS. But if you're willing to file it under general category, even for a college, then even the Duolingo will work. Should work. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, any news if unis in Canada will start with in-person classes for Jan intake students?
Well, fingers crossed, toes crossed that January brings some hope. But you can expect some kind, a little bit at least, of online stuff, even if you are on campus. Yeah. Because they really don't want people walking around, from morning to night. So there will be some form of online, but hopefully, that's what the world is waiting for.
Can I add to that? The fact is, these components of online learning are going to become the new normal.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that session later at 4, which is on the future of learning, and just don't expect that it's going to disappear. Don't expect you'll have a program that's going to be 100% face-to-face ever again. It's just not. The universities have really equipped themselves well to be able to give you a great experience where you're having a combination of both, not one or the other, but a combination. So just expect that to be something going forward. Casey, I think you answered this next question, which is it possible to get 100% scholarship from universities?
So there are options of 100% scholarship, though they're very limited, very, very limited. And they are looking at your academic credentials. Not only that, apart from that, they would be looking at the extracurricular. And 100% scholarship means you are competing with thousands of students. It's not an easy ask. You have to have a really, a bright academic record. Plus, maybe you would have published papers, or you would have done internships with companies which are really globally recognized, and you are a star, basically. That's what 100% scholarship means. Yeah. Possible?
Rock star. Yeah, it's basically very, very competitive. If your question is, can it happen? Of course it can happen. And it happens every year. But it's a tough ask. Yes.
Okay, so the next question, I don't know how well we're going to answer this without the country, but if we start taking online classes from India, what will be the scenario of visa?
That's what we talked about just now. We did it. We did that. Yeah. It makes no difference.
Yeah. I want to know about early childhood 1-year masters in UK. Okay, that's very specialized.
What is that? What masters?
I want to know about early childhood 1-year masters in the UK.
A number of them will give you. But early childhood as in what? In the education department. Is that what you're looking for, or in the counseling? They're two different. You can get it under psychology. You can get it under education. You can get it. There are various ways of looking at it, but can't just connect with us, for particular, such a specific one.
Why don't you?
Roehampton has, by the way, if you're looking for one university, Roehampton has a very, very strong course in that, in the master's.
There's actually plenty that are in the expo. If you haven't already shortlisted your universities, go and do that, or connect with one of our relationship managers in the expo and get them to build out your list a bit more, because there's really great opportunities for early learning. Yeah, Binda's completely right. It just depends on which frame you want to go down. Okay, next one is how is the market after masters in the UK? Yeah, I'm assuming they mean the global,
So I think they mean the UK.
Yeah, sorry, the market there. Okay, so the truth is, yes, there will be plenty of jobs. Don't fear about it. I'm from the UK, and I think that they're being extremely resilient. The UK have gone for this herd immunity so that they can quickly get the economy back up to shape, and they're investing like crazy. So they're probably one of the most resilient in terms of the economy after COVID. So don't worry about that. There'll be plenty of jobs available.
There should be. There should be everywhere. But it also depends on the areas, okay? There are some that are going to be anything in digital, anything in AI, anything in logistics, anything in healthcare. Those are the areas which will be, I can't say easy, but maybe a little easier, because that's the way the world is functioning right now. But remember one thing as far as jobs are concerned, location is no longer important. May the best man get the job, no matter which part of the world he's in. Look at us. I mean, the next the webinar that is coming up on work of the future of learning. We've got a professor sitting in Glasgow. We've got somebody sitting in Jaipur. We've got some, and all of us are connecting. So it's going to be different. That's all. But it's going to be there.
Yes. Yeah. But there's great exposure to get from it. So next question, for University of Kent, so in case if I have admitted myself, how long do I have to give online classes? Until the borders open, and most universities have set a timeline around that. So say that they're saying their face-to-face classes will start in October. they'll give you until a certain amount of time to come on shore because they know that you have to get your visa, you have to get flights, you have to sort everything out. If they've started with online classes, and I'm pretty sure Kent is not one of those, then they'll start with them face-to-face in the new year. But in terms of Kent, they will have given those guidelines. So connect with the university or connect with your RM to just find a bit more clarity. Do you want to add anything, guys?
Yeah, the only thing I would say to make it more general and not only Kent is that, look, the UK will not open before October. And if we look at October, you're looking at basically October, November, December. Half of December is Christmas holidays. They're not going to give that up for life, for anything. And by the time you reach the other end, you're in January. So January should be, I mean, we're looking at it and talking to universities all the time. The scenario that we saw in April and what we are hearing now are completely different. So maybe you won't have more than 6 to 8 weeks of online, and you will get a chance to go face to face. I mean, that's what it is. Look, guys, you're not leaving now, but keep the options open, get your accommodation done, pay your deposits, and see how it goes. If you find that you can't do it, or it's becoming worse, you'll either get your money back, because COVID-19 refund policy, just check it out. UK has a very good refund policy on this issue. You'll get your money back, or it'll get deferred to the next intake, whichever one is safer. So why are you worried?
Just to add, please get your visas also sorted out. The countries which have opened for the visas, please apply for the visas. The best thing is every country is flexible. They are giving you entry into that country depending on when you actually fly, not from the date you would have filed or granted, you would have got the visas. So go ahead, keep yourself ready for whenever the borders open.
We can do a couple of more and then
there's a really great question that it's caught my eye. Is it true that Asians get 100% scholarships in Italy, mostly in public university?
Yeah,
I doubt it. I've never heard of it.
I wish. Look, as you were told that if you're a good student, if you're looking at Italy, I don't know what you're looking for, either business or design, I presume. And if you're that good, why Italy? You'll get it anywhere. All scholarships are competitive.
Yeah.
So if you're good, apply. And we'll certainly help you. We'll help you put in the best application.
I just want to add a point there that as an outsider, I think the perception of Indian students, having worked in this sector for some time from the UK perspective, that Indian students are really hardworking, really focused, really add a lot to a classroom. So when they're talking about that, they're generalizing you in terms of your work ethic and your ability to add something to the room. So I'm not sure about the 100% scholarships because you're Asian. It'd be because of your academics and other factors. But just know that, you're going to be taken seriously. How will the campus placements be affected post-COVID-19 in the UK?
There are no such thing. This campus placements is a very Indian concept. So what the universities do is they do have milk rounds, they do have career fairs, which they organize on campus, but there's no such campus placement day that everybody in that class is going to get placed. So if you have a strong resume and you have strong academic marks, the career centers are so strong in these in the British universities. They've been there for donkey's years, and they help you with everything. They should, with putting a CV together, interviewing skills. So those are the areas you should be concentrating on, not placement fairs. You cannot go to a placement fair even if you're brilliant, and if your interviewing skills are bad, that you will get a job. So I would suggest work with the career center and get an internship if you can, and then take the next step on placement. Now you have a 2-year stay back, and this is the only country which is not questioning what you're going to do in those 2 years. So, they're giving you the time and the place to be able to look for a job and you will find, yeah, because earlier what used to happen is that most of the interviews and stuff were done in January, February, when you didn't have a visa. So now you have the time, the energy, the place to be able to stay back and get a job. You will. The university is only as good as the employability, and all of them are very good at that. Work with your career centers. Wherever you study, work with the career centers.
Okay,
no,
last
I was
couple of
also
questions.
asking. I was also reading a question. You go on. That's fine. Yeah, that was the question I wanted.
Shashank has asked this a couple of times, so I think he really wants to answer. Do credits from Indian universities get transferred to British Columbia universities?
Yes. You have to do 2 years in India, and third and fourth year you can transfer. You can, but you have to be a good student. Okay, all transfer cases will be strong students who want to transfer. If you're a very, very weak student, you're not going to be able to transfer. They'll just ask you, or they will give you 1 year off and they'll make you repeat the second year. But yes, specifically British
just
Columbia,
to add to that, it's not only that the
transfers.
student has to be good, you also should be studying from a similar university. So you wouldn't, they map the university. So yeah,
they map
if it is a central university, I
syllabus.
don't see a problem. As Vinvam said, yes, you can transfer credit. But if it is a newer university, there might be a challenge. So be aware of that.
Okay, so if you're studying in a private Indian private school, just remember they might ask you for the syllabus to be able to map it.
Guys, I'm going to leave you for the last couple of questions. I'll read one and then I have to pop back to the stage. So, does Brexit bring positive news for Indians in the UK after Europeans losing some of the privileges? I'll leave that with you and I'll pop up this. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, maybe we'll make this the last one. Yes, of course, we have the advantage with UK being out of Brexit. The labor market laws don't apply anymore, and there are that many more jobs because now everybody's competing on par. So earlier the EU had the advantage of being ahead of us. So it was the British guy, then the European, and then us. Now the Brits, and then everybody gets equal chance, equal opportunity to apply for the job. So I think we will leave it over there. And those of you who need to go and see your
question is regarding West acceptance, and he's saying West acceptance of graduate degrees. My university is not listed in West recognized list, although it is recognized by UGC in India. In this case, should I apply for an undergraduate program, as I'm keen to apply for PR in the future and without West?
So do you have only 15 years of education? And why are you doing West? He has 15 years of education. All right, so let's take this on as a separate case and talk to the university and find out what to do. Sometimes universities, they may ask for West, but they may consider it depending on how well you've done in your course. And they might ask you to do some more credits or something, through a pathway format so that you can pick up extra credits as you go along. So instead of doing 9 credits, you might have to do 12. I'm presuming you're looking at the US. So yes, just talk to us separately.
I would like to add to
on
it.
This,
not all universities, as Bilvam said, are looking at West. And you have to please talk to us separately. There are other countries as well where West is not required. It is primarily a US requirement. And if you're looking at PR, what you've written in your question, so you could look at Canada or Australia or New Zealand. They are also offering you, PR options. So connect with us separately and we will help you with that. Okay, Vidma, let's thank our audience.
Perfecto.
Yes.
Yep. Shall we say thank you, love you and leave you? Guys, as you can see, please connect with us. Here is, I can put it on a full thing, but we're not difficult to connect to now. tcglobal.com. If you already have your RMs, please connect with them. If you don't, then register with us, on board with us at tcglobal.com, and somebody will pick it up and run with it. But I hope all of you enjoyed this. And I just wish you all the best. God bless all of you. Do what is good for you. I know we think you should take advantage this year, but sometimes circumstances are that it doesn't work out. But whatever happens, we certainly believe happens for the best. So hopefully we'll see you in one of our offices sooner than later. Right now we're all virtual. So whenever you want to connect with us, thank you very much. All right.